Alright.
Former coach for Darksided in Season 2 MEO as well. He's helping Order this season, so he'll be the one that's doing all the number crunching behind the scenes. We get well as our first point to a point where it's not always clear cut for the favourites. We saw Legacy taking that off ground zero before. Slipjip on the hog could play spoiler here, definitely, with some nice hooks over that well.
Yeah, and it's got to be said, this is definitely a stronger looking Melbourne Mavericks than what we've seen in previous weeks of the season. You know, like being able to get these guys back together, I think it does look a little bit stronger on paper, in my opinion. But
definitely their peak.
Let us see what this Melbourne Mavericks roster is going to be able to do. Truth having been spotted here by Signed.
I think you'll see Quats jump on him pretty early, but Yuki's been hacked already. He's already under a lot of pressure. He might even go down here.
Will he? Or maybe if that is the case, it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Looks like Yuki survives and Truth does not. So Order, it was a game of cat and mouse for quite a while, but inevitably they do catch their mouse. Mavericks getting some significant cap up onto the point, but it's not really going to matter because they are 5v6 and they are, in theory, going to lose this fight. Most of the way that this plays out. Barrage for Soggy, though, might tell a different tale, but now the pick's come across for Order.
He's alive?
He's still alive. Adams rise up.
The boy lives. Melbourne Mavericks
Harry Potter.
not able to take advantage of the rotations that Order had to put out. We saw Soggy put so much damage in there and Yuki dropping dangerously low, but he couldn't land that last rocket. Farah is one of those heroes that can take out Brigitte pretty easy if you can get past his shield. The positive for Melbourne Mavericks is that they have that EMP coming up relatively soon. And Sign's being caught asleep.
That Rocket Barrage is a little bit ambitious. Adam was still alive, but Defense Matrix doesn't seem to have made a difference. It's Adam, the only player that goes down. And
he misses the rocket again.
Doesn't quite. We'll get the health pack and heal himself back up. Coalescence is through here from Jordation. That is perhaps enough to push Melbourne Mavericks back as they lose the 1-for-1.
Yeah, they're on the retreat now. Soggy not getting the most out of that barrage, but he did manage to get Adam, which started the fight off right. He managed to finish that last rocket. Could have got Quats too. Those are the two star players last week for this roster of the Order. Those two made so many plays. As Sun goes in with the EMP and he hits the Mercy.
And Diana, there's a counter EMP out from Exthirst, which hits a few more. It looks to be much better for Melbourne Mavericks. Soggy, Slipjip are the ones chiming up on the kill feed. I'm just going to pop a...
He gets midi.
Yeah, he's going to pop a bomb through. It's Nellery with a kill though. Dropping to the self-destruct, I should say. Who's having a nap?
Quaddy's having a nap.
Wake up!
Hunter deciding not to invest the beat there. They get 68% of the cap, so it's not the most, but we saw Signed last week. He really struggled with getting these EMPs on target. And again, he fails to get it. Yeah, he got Razor and Truth, the two supports, but they're not the big value ones. You want to be getting Sombra, you want to be getting the Farah out of the air.
I do love me a good ragdoll when players die like that. That was a good one from Quats, I'll give that. Soggy with the Rocket Barrage. He's been pretty decent with his
so far. Has the Nano online too. This could be a big one if Adam isn't timing his Matrix properly. Hunter's managed to find Exerst in the backline though.
Hello. You got to remember, Order were very good at playing around the Sombra at the season finals last season at IEM. But this is a bit of a different context in the DPS setup that Melbourne Mavericks are running. Looks like someone's off the map. No, they get back up. Found at the well. Soggy's going to invest the Rocket Barrage. That actually does end up getting Quat. Soggy goes low, but it was a nano boost that keeps him alive. Signs translocate out of the well. Still surviving for the moment, and that's really what Order's doing here. They're surviving rather than winning the fight.
They need to be winning the fight though. They don't have control of the point, so that damage boosted rockets coming from the Farah. It's just going to finish the fight off, but now you enter an even fight territory. But Exerst has the EMP ready and waiting. Slipjip with the rally. The rally is so important here because if Sign manages to build that EMP up, the rally could be the key to surviving through it for players like Truth and Exerst. Nellery, he's bunkered himself up on the point. He's going to be difficult to remove. The Order don't really have the damage to do that so quickly. Their ultimates are really lacking. This could be a last fight situation for Order. Backs against the wall. Are they going to have the big playmakers come out and do some work here? Truth goes down early. Adam eats the nade and he can't heal himself.
That's not good. Not good at all. EMP thrown in there as well from Exerst, and maybe enough actually to trade this one back. Comboed with the Rocket Barrage. That is excellent. Look at Order. They're like a rat caught in a trap and they're all hiding away in the building, but it does not matter. The splash damage is going to be enough. Order won't be able to mount an offense here, surely.
Sign's going to be the one to touch, but if he gets caught in any sort... Adam actually can't touch his... The EMP comes through from Sign, but it doesn't catch a lot of targets. Quads gets taken out instantly.
Oh, who's off the map? It's Slipjip. He's down the hole. Goodbye. Soggy's still looking to do some damage here from up in the sky, but the ultimates are few and far between the Melbourne Mavericks. They need to keep this one with a numbers advantage, and that's what they're doing. Nellery and Exurst helping out quite substantially in that department. Adam dives on the point to try and continue the overtime ticks, and well, he does at least manage to do that, but doesn't last too much longer after the fact. So Jip swapped over, Signed is now swapped over as well. But it is going to be the point for Melbourne Mavericks. Not enough to secure the map just yet, but enough to keep Ground Zero cheering.
Ground Zero will be very nervous watching this game, but they'll like the start. This is the perfect start for Mavericks. They get the map. That map is so... It really makes the... It's a great evener between the two teams. You can have the more skilled opponent on the well map, and just the way the map plays out with the positioning and the rotations, and even the compositions that play it on that map, sometimes you can get the underdog taking the win. And we see it twice today with Legacy getting the map win on well, and Mavericks getting the map win on well.
Is it time to map up? Are you ready to map up?
I mean, I'll map up. You map up, I'll map up. But at the moment, Order, they're staying with this composition. Yuki's going over to the Roadhog, so it's curious. It's kind of like a 3-tank with Roadhog instead of a Zarya. Sign will stick on the Sombra. Melbourne Mavericks have gone for this very heavy DPS composition with the Pharah and the Widow. It's chosen to get off the Widow though after seeing all those tanks.
Nellery's just chilling.
It certainly is, but Soggy is going to be the one that's hard to deal with here. Yuki might be able to pluck him out of the sky, but that's a really hard hook to land. Jordation takes a damage booster rocket to the face already.
He's getting bounced all over the place, almost off the map, and even Soggy giving it a crack as well with the concussion blast. Oh my god, Nellery, I think he knocked quads off.
He definitely did knock quads off and managed to get a kill on Yuki too. Got hacked out. Sombra, Signed, it's hacked, it's dead.
It's happening.
86% on Nellery's ult early, and this is a very good point for Wrecking Ball's ult. You can get the spread all across it.
Is just being delayed as much as possible.
Are we seeing week 2 and week 3 order?
Maybe we are.
Jekyll and Hyde from these blokes at the moment. Not dealing with it well. Jordation's going to take a peek out of spawn as the Pharah's holding there, but he doesn't get the headshot onto that Mercy. He only gets a body shot. It's not going to amount to anything. Now the ults are reset. Yuki going over to that Brigitte means that there's no rally available this fight either. Soggy's Barrage could come out big here.
Certainly could, and we had a lot of good rocket barrages on well. Ooh, Quads is up in the sky, and that's enough. That's the moment that Soggy chooses to strike. He also spots Signed. And if we were looking for the stealth bomber out of our last match, this one might be a bit more of an artillery strike.
Yeah, this is concerning signs for Order because they're not building ults in this fight either. They're not fighting back. They're just getting picked off at the moment. First, the environmental kill from Nellery really, ends that fight before it even begins. And now this fight ends before it even begins because of Soggy's Barrage.
Big jawed out howdy. I don't know how you're feeling about this one. Ooh, another attempted boot from Nellery, but it's not going to get anyone off the map this time. Exurst catches Signed, his counterpart. Soggy looking to build another rocket barrage, but maybe the rocket barrage isn't even necessary here. The EMP is down from Exurst. Order's going to have to reset again, and this is looking more and more and more likely. Ground Zero, I'm sure, are cheering at this point. Cheering Melbourne Mavericks on.
They haven't even looked like winning a fight, Order. They've looked at all sorts so far. They haven't got any value out of any of these engages. It feels like on the rotations to the point, they're getting picked off so easily. Something we didn't expect to see. Signed with the EMP this fight. It's going to need to be a big one. Watch for Adam's bomb here. He might try and take the Pharah Mercy out by himself.
Yeah, howdy's in the chat, everybody. This might well be Order dropping out of second place for sure. Soggy, he's done it. It's a rocket barrage. It's going to seal the deal for Melbourne Mavericks. 98%. Order does not come back from this. Quads is going to need an absolute miracle, and that is very few and far between here for Order tonight. Melbourne Mavericks have got the first map against Order. Can you believe it? How many times have I said that this week? Can you believe it? I don't believe it. That's impossible, and yet it's happened. One map up until this point, the entire season for Melbourne Mavericks, and all they needed tonight was one map against Order. They've already got it.
They've already got it. Ground Zero is going to be cheering for that because they're guaranteed second seed now, I believe.
They are.
And now it's on for Order. They need to win the series to topple the Warriors seeding, I believe. Am I correct in saying that? I am correct in saying that. So now there's something to play for Order too. They failed the first hurdle. Are they going to fail the second?
Whoa, that's a big ask, isn't it? To lose the second hurdle.
That was so convincing to the Melbourne Mavericks. Order didn't look like they had any idea of what they were doing. Adam sneaks in the window there, but there was just no value.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it the Order of all sorts that we hoped not to see? I mean, last week against Warriors, they looked so good. We thought, going into Melbourne Mavericks in the final week, that's going to be a bit of a nothing match for Order. That's going to be a technicality, if anything, They just got to clean it up No worries at all. And yet here we are at a 1-0 right now for Melbourne Mavericks, and Ground Zero securing themselves second place for the season, a place through to the semi-finals. I would never have believed you if you would have told me, even after like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 weeks, after 5 weeks of this season, we would have had Mind Freak and Ground Zero as seed 1 and 2, and Order and Warriors in 3rd and 4th.
It's crazy talk. You're off your rocker, mate, if you're saying that.
That is unbelievable.
What a situation we found ourselves in, but there's still so much to play for. As I said, the seeding does matter a lot. Warriors will be sitting here hoping Melbourne Mavericks keep the momentum into the second map and keep going strong, but the Order Army, they're not going to go down without a fight, I believe.
No, certainly not. I'm just trying to work through my brain what the standings are going to look like right now. Hang on, let me get this piece of paper.
Alright, while Jordan racks his brain, I'll tell you why they lost that. They got no value out of that signed Sombra pick. The EMPs, they got 2 EMPs off. Well, actually, they only got 1 EMP off on that well, I believe it was, and it only hit the Mercy and the Ana, and they weren't getting any kills off that, so it's difficult. We saw him last week struggle with the EMPs, but he was great with the regular play. Today, he was okay with the regular play, but the EMPs, again, lackluster. I really can't wait to see them on 2-2-2. Maybe they need to swap the roles up a little bit. Maybe get Yuki on the Sombra, try Yuki out, or try Adam out again. Because at the moment, they're really struggling with that role.
Yeah, so right now, if Order ends up in 3rd place, which is still where I would expect them to finish, they are going to be facing Atletico. Warriors would drop down into 4th and face Sydney Drop Bears. That would be the quarterfinal matches.
Warriors Sydney Drop Bears would be... it's a rematch from
It's a pretty interesting one.
That's a juicy one. The Atletico Order one isn't as juicy, but Merit going on to Atletico would create a little storyline there. Merit, the former member of Order, of course, in Season 3 2018. Wow, what a situation we find ourselves in going into Paris, though. 1-0 down, Order. They need the series win. Mavs, they'll be looking to get some respect as well back. I mean, going 1-22 or whatever they're at now, 1-23, it's so demoralizing, and you feel down as a player after being a part of that. But if they get some good maps here off Order, then maybe their stocks rise and they can find some good teams, or they can form a roster into trials, stick together and make it back in.
What kind of storylines are we getting this week? It's unbelievable. Well, one thing I can say is that Soggy just popped off on Ilios. He was a massive problem for Order. They had no idea, no answer against the Farah. Now's the time for Order where they're like, oh, is it happening again?
Yeah, they really need to knuckle down and go back to basic strategies that they've executed time and time again. They do struggle with the Farah. They haven't struggled with Roro's Farah. Trickyly enough, you would have thought that Roro would be the player to take him out with the Farah, but Soggy's come through and played an excellent one on that map.
Yeah, this is just crazy. It's just a crazy week. It's a crazy season. Absolutely crazy season.
Certainly been a silly season, that's for sure. The bunker composition from Order, they do choose to play the J Silly over the Tourbillon or the Mei, like other teams pick.
You know what the best storyline is going to be here? Is if neither Warriors or Order end up actually making it to the grand finals this season.
That'd be
because that would just be like
unbelievable.
Yeah, it would just be like the cherry on the cake for this crazy season. Started off with Silly Sunday, the first day of the competition, and now here we are at Monday Madness.
Certainly is. Ezreal doesn't hit the shot on the grappling Widow. Exerst, very confident Widow player. He'll be going up against Signed. These two players face off against each other pretty often on the ranked ladder.
How crazy is it that last week Order can 4-0 Warriors, and yet we're up against Melbourne Mavericks.
It was an absolute stomp.
So we're 1-23 at this point. Well, 2-23 now.
2-23 now, yeah.
And they can't 4-0 them. I just don't know what to say about this. Well, Order starting off on defense here, and Exerst, he's on the Widowmaker. That's what you love to see from Melbourne Mavericks. He really popped off on Widow in the season that he played. I can't remember, was it season 2, I think, that Exerst first played in Contenders.
It's a very sharp young player. He's another one of those players that are just amazing at hit scan, and you see him laying some headshots here. Adam going very low. They couldn't res quads because he got hooked into that position, but it's just unplayable, essentially. Adam on the flank gets gripped by a headshot, but there's the Hulk hook combination that picks off Yuki, and this could be the end of the point for Order. An SMG fight comes out. He gets the shot!
Exerst is just like, no, see you, mate. I don't want an SMG battle. I'm going to take this shot, and
he takes out Hunter
as well. Oh, this is what I want to see, man. This is absolutely what I want to see.
Order are absolutely on the ropes here. They didn't manage to build any offensive ults at all. They have the Nano Boost, they have the Valkyrie, but those are two low-value ultimates coming through. Yuki swaps over to the Hog as Adam moves over to the Diva. Sign still on the Widowmaker. He's going to have to be the star player this time around. He's going to need to find space to find Exerst, find Soggy, find Razor.
Dude, he just got clapped by Exerst. I don't know how confident Signed is feeling right now.
Got to throw caution to the wind when you're playing the Widowmaker. Just
take that duel, back
take
yourself.
the chances. You got to back yourself.
You know all about that playing Lucio for your entire
Yeah, I backed
Overwatch
myself
career.
versus Widowmakers. Definitely.
Let's see what Simon can do here. He's got a bead on Truth, but as of yet, spotted Exerst, and that's the danger man.
He hasn't got the space at the moment. This Soggy Nano Boost. Barrage comes in hard against one. Jordan should take that straight away. The two.
Soggy's been so good with these barrages. He actually got the D-Mech as well, so you might as well count 3 kills for Soggy.
And Orderer crumbling. The recontest isn't going to be good. Sign does get Exerst, but is anyone going to get on the point? The Hunter Valkyrie flies on in.
Sign is just being zoned by that whole hog. The recontest does start to come out. Jordation. Oh, Razor, that's not where you want to be. Oh, may have just thrown the point away there, but Exerst does get signed, and probably won't get too much more here. It was a good attempt from Melbourne Mavericks. Really looked like they were going to do it, but the picks from Sign just saving the day.
Adam coming back on the Diva as well. Just managing to get some few kills there as they are staggering Truth a little bit more. He doesn't have his nano boost, but and just to build up some charge there. Wow, that was dangerously close to Order, just crumbling out of this series. Well, not of the series, but really putting himself on the back foot. Melbourne Mavericks expended everything there. They're going to get off the Pharah and onto the May. This barrage coming in. This is beautiful.
Yeah, great movement from Soggy there as well. You just a little too late on the hook. Unfortunately, very good barrage from Soggy. Seems like every time that he has that available, he's getting some degree of value of it. Well, now on to the May. So, the question is what's he going to be able to do with Blizzard?
Catches Yuki and he gets anti-heal too. He's down.
Yeah, nothing to be done there for Yuki. Needed some help from someone, but who's going to really help him there? Exerst wants to take this duel. He's got Infrasight on. He's chasing Sign. What a madman. Doesn't quite manage to connect the shot. The res is going to come across onto Yuki as well. Hunter gets that one. Oh, Exerst! What a great shot onto Sign. And unfortunately for him, he's going to have to deal with a few more. Adam dives right on top of him. They know that the damage is done.
Mine ends up taking him out.
Death from beyond the grave.
So he does manage to get a little bit of revenge, but it's not the revenge he wants.
I didn't realize they added martyrdom to Overwatch.
Yeah.
I knew Activision was having something to do with it, but like, what? Anyway.
The Widowmaker mine activates after death and takes him out. Jordation on the Hanzo though. This is a hero that he loves to play. He won't be able to play that next week though, as he's a flex support player by trade. They have the combination of the suck into the dragon, the suck into the bomb. It needs to be a good ult from poor little Quaddy though, stuck on the Orisa. The mine goes back out. This is a slow composition on the side of Melbourne Mavericks.
Dragons out on Jordation, don't seem to be doing a whole lot of damage. Not hearing any ticks, but Signed is really getting it going with this Widowmaker. As much damage as Exerst is doing, Signed is certainly doing the same. Being pressured out a little bit now by Exerst, who has actually swapped over to the Hanzo.
We saw this comp before, and he does take down Signed eventually, but Jordation on the Hanzo is equaling him, if not bettering him.
Yeah, this is where you start to get a little bit worried for Melbourne Mavericks. Order have found their groove. It's taken them quite a while in this series to get it going, but now that they have managed to sort of assemble themselves a little bit better, a bit really, really bad for Melbourne Mavericks, and Razor is, oh, this is just very, very painful.
Melbourne Mavericks have got some ults online though, and we saw previously in previous series that they've been relying on this Exerst Hanzo to open things up a lot. He did get nano boosted a few times in a series, which is quite fun to watch him just absolutely tear through people with the Storm Arrows. No nano boost now as Truth is swapped over to the Zenyatta. Nellery does have the drum though, and that makes Hanzo very powerful. Deceptive amount of damage. Walls, preventing the players from switching over. Will he use Maywall to get across? He will just chance it. Paying respect there to Signed, not taking any chances getting across.
Ooh. Don't want to be giving Signed too many opportunities.
No, but as the Hanzo player, you kind of have a little bit of an advantage versus the Widowmaker, just because you have the added mobility of being able to shoot. Maywall gets eaten by Adam.
Yeah, and Signed has got a crossfire angle here. This is not looking too kind on Melbourne Mavericks at all. Got no idea. Signed getting 3 shots, finally starts to be challenged by Soggy and will be finished off, but it doesn't really matter here. Melbourne Mavericks are not winning this point, not here. Soggy doing a pretty decent amount of damage actually as the last player alive.
Takes a few out with him. But it can be difficult as the Widowmaker player to get those shots on the Hanzo because his fire rate is so rapid that he can just peek around the corner for like half a second, shoot, get the Sonic arrow out, and then he knows where you are. So I find it very difficult as a Widowmaker player to take down those Hanzos. Jordan now with the ultimate online. He needs to do a bit better than the last one. Last one cut the team in half, but didn't really amount to any damage going out. So he'll want a better one this time. So the Mavericks have chosen to go for Baptiste bunker.
Interesting choice. I suppose you have to try something different. What they've been trying has not been working.
No one can
Make an adaptation.
my sight.
See if it works. Throw something at the wall. Maybe it'll stick. Predation looking for another Dragon Strike here. Again, looks to be a pretty decent one. That's caught Razor. Isolated Razor. Mortality field will go up though. In the meanwhile, Yuki is dealing with the other isolated targets. The whole hog doing some good damage. The hook apparently as well, as that's what finished Soggy off. And Exerst is here on his own.
Would have been a good shot to hit if he was signed and run for the montage, but he doesn't manage to do it. But the thing that's separating them at the moment is the order positioning. They're able to get these flankers, Jordan on the left-hand side and Sign on the right-hand side.
Well, Sign is kind of like in the front door, basically.
Exactly. If he gets picked off, it's going to take so long for people to get back onto the point anyway that he'll respawn into a position where he can play anyway. So it's not a massive deal. And when you're versing these snipers, if they get a crossfire on you, it can be very difficult. Soggy luckily escapes with his life there.
Sign has been spotted again. There's Transcendence out on the point and an amplification matrix. Ult goes through from order. A few ultimates actually available for Melbourne Mavericks, and they're being thrown in. They're actually doing this one, Smash. Overtime seems to be the name of the game for Melbourne Mavericks. This should well be enough, and it is. The Blizzard was just too strong. Order not expecting it. I don't know. Didn't get eaten this time by Adam. They cap out, but in overtime.
Adam, unfortunately, getting demec'd there without his ultimate, so he couldn't reset, but getting pulled in, gets taken out. The amplification matrix goes down. It shreds Little Quaddy's shield. Blizzard comes out, and that's the point capped. Order didn't manage to get that crossfire working just the way they'd like it, as someone's broken the statue. Disaster.
Who did it?
I think it might have been in that stagger fight when they were staggering the Mercy player, Razor. Someone must have bumped into it.
Is it a statue of glass or a statue of ice? It looks like ice.
It's got to be glass,
It's got to be glass.
Because, yeah, you'd melt.
It looks way cooler, though, if it was ice. You know what I'm saying?
Glass doesn't really break that way, does it? I guess it could, but...
If it was a solid... If it was solid glass, yeah, I think it probably
Yeah, well, I mean,
could.
it's not breaking if it's solid glass. Like, geez, you have to...
Well, that's how it would break if it was solid glass.
That's true.
It'd be like rocks, like crack.
Is that Ben Green's new bar, his place?
I've seen his place, and it's not as cool as that.
No.
It is pretty cool, but it's not that cool.
Alright, well... We'll have to figure out who that is. Whose that is. It could be MJ's from Legacy. I know he likes to drink.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone in esports has enough money to make something look that cool.
Oh, I know a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
But now, we see the bunker composition from Melbourne Mavericks. They're choosing the Bastion bunker, not the silly Junkrat that Order picked up. Yuki over onto the Roadhog, signed on the Hanzo. It's an Adam Sombra, but I believe he'll only use this to scout. Exerst has already taken Jordan out of the spawn door. Durst really feeling it on Widowmaker today. He's got the better of Sign in the duels, but Sign's been getting important picks nonetheless.
Sombra.
Here he wants to find that Sombra. He knows it's around somewhere. Quats goes over to the Wrecking Ball. Yuki on the Pharah. A hero that he played a lot in the past, but not so much in recent years.
Venom Mine has been dispatched.
Pressure's on Order though. They need to break this bunker and then get onto second point and break it too. Melbourne Mavericks have set them up in a nice position now. They have win conditions. This series is well and truly alive, Jordan. We wouldn't have thought it, but it is. Truth dropping low, but not falling.
Imagine if Melbourne Mavericks full holds Order here. Just imagine that.
Well, Quartz is trying to make that not a possibility as he finds Exerst, who's been the key player really so far. And Slipchip has got no shield, so he's going down too. The lamp coming out a little bit too late.
Yeah, it's not ideal for Melbourne Mavericks at all. Slipchip is going to have to swap off to get to the point faster. Looks like he's staying. Bastion. I mean, I guess that just kind of confirms a loss for Melbourne Mavericks, doesn't it? Soggy, though, might be the one to turn it around. He was very good on the Pharah. Has been decent on May as well. That's one pick that's going to help. Slipchip coming back into the fight. The Reza cross, though, onto Quats, and that does bring the numbers game back in the favour of Order. Truth doing his best. And, I mean, to be honest, Melbourne Mavericks is surviving a lot longer than I might have expected. Soggy gets another one.
Slipchip answers onto Sign too. This fight isn't over.
This is an absolute mess. They need to deal with Yuki though, and they're just not going to be able to do it. As Rocket Barrage comes up in time. That was interesting.
Gets the nano boost too, though. So these ults aren't going to be used on the second point. They really don't have much. They have the Dragon Strike. As Exerst tries to buy a little bit more time off the clock.
Pulse bomb. Guess Exerst is going to be swapping anyway, so.
Yeah, he will be. The Melbourne Mavericks have some stall ultimates here. They do have the May ultimate to work with and the Amplification Matrix.
5 minutes and 51 seconds though to hold.
We saw Ground Zero do it. First,
Order do it against Melbourne Mavericks as well, to be fair.
Certainly did. Exerst now onto the McCree. Hero that I wouldn't have expected to come out, but fancies himself. Why not? Give it a go. Soggy's ultimate here is going to be very important. There's nothing to eat it, but there are lots of mobile heroes, so it's going to be hard to get value off it. Really needs to lock down Jordation, I believe, with it. Try and get that pick, because he's the immobile hero in this lineup.
Dragon Strike is doing a lot of damage. It was a perfect execution with the pile driver as well, and Exodus kind of just walked into it. There's a Blizzard down, which is dangerous for Order. Resurrect across onto Exerst, again putting the numbers in their favour. 65 right now. Slipchip will get the shield bash onto Quax, which is never really what you want as a Wrecking Ball, but fortunately for Slipchip, he is being bullied quite a lot by all of Order, and Adam getting close by with this EMP. Just needs a little bit more damage and might be able to turn this one over in the favour of Order. Here we go, 4 EMPs connected. Exerst and Truth do avoid it, however, so we may see an Immortality Field coming out. And in fact, no kills come off of that one from Adam, until he inevitably actually does go down. Now it's a Supercharger on the point from Melbourne Mavericks, and they hold strong. Bit of a messy fight from Order.
The side of Order was so low when Adam threw that EMP out that nobody could get aggressive. Even the primary fire from Marissa was just threatening players left, right and center. They couldn't get any value off it. And EMP is your fight-winning ult. You've got to be winning fights off your EMPs. You can't afford to be throwing them away too much. The sign flips over to the Widowmaker. Yuki on the Roadhog. So it's this 3-tank composition with the... Jordation will be swapping surely. Yeah, okay, he swapped.
Well,
Nano Boost Hunter.
It's about 2 minutes down for Order.
It certainly is, and there's no ticks on the board, and only Hunter's ult to remain, as all 5 players are swapped over. Well, Mavericks have done some swaps themselves. Exerst has moved over to the Hanzo, but they're in a position where they can set up some fights here. Truth can use that Amplification Matrix to break this shield and break this fight open.
Chip looking for the hook there. The wall does come up. I think that might have actually saved Melbourne Mavericks, so job well done. Soggy again. Now they're onto the point. Exerst is caught side, and the hook goes through. Another one as well. Soggy going to be lost at this time for Melbourne Mavericks, which is not too great at all. Has been doing a lot of good work for them. Now we'll keep an eye on Exerst as he tries to find some damage here, but walks out too far, overcommits to that. He gets the hook across. This might be the one for Order as they start to gain advantages in the fight. And Ultimate's coming up shortly for Melbourne Mavericks either to save them. Nelry maybe with the Supercharger, if he can survive, can get that one down and really amp up Soggy and Exerst, but Soggy does get one onto Jordation. Still the picks are coming across for Order, but no, is it clean enough? Supercharger's down now for Nelry, but Nelry might be the last man standing on the point here. A little bit of help from Truth, that's it. No one else is there for Melbourne Mavericks. Order are surely getting this one done. It's taken them a while. It's been a long, extended fight. Melbourne Mavericks are starting to run out of steam now.
Yeah, we saw Sign come back from spawn and get a few key picks as Slipchip has swapped over the Roadhog and picks off Sign.
Oh my god!
Dangerously low. Exerst is popping off in the background. Order now on the back foot only after getting 1 tick.
I can't believe that at all. It looked like such a free fight for Order. They capped everything, caught everyone, and then how does Exerst get the D-Mech and then the kill? And somehow, somewhere, Slipchip's able to get the catch onto Sign as well.
It's turned around again.
What is going on?
It's just Mad Monday, I guess. Manic Monday, whatever you want to call it.
Monday Madness.
Monday Madness for sure.
Monday Mav Up.
Monday Mav Up, yeah, that's a good one.
Mav Up Monday.
There's been little resistance so far to this Exerst Hanzo. He hasn't been able to get taken out too easily. Got hooks there, but he's been Starpick signed on the flank though. He could open some beautiful angles as Jordy opens a fight. This is the first shot. He needs to get value here. Exerst has found him, and he's hightailing it out of there.
Dangerous times here for Melbourne Mavericks. Their players getting very low. They've got no ultimates to save themselves. It's a dry fight, and the picks are coming across for Order. The individuals doing some real good damage, and Exerst, well, he's got quads, but that's just not enough. It's again back to square one, what we saw before, but this time Order won't mess around, and they do finish it off.
They do cap with time too, giving themselves the best opportunity to take the win on this map, and they need it. Certainly do.
They need it. They need it, yeah.
Minute 35 though is not a lot of time. We saw them struggle on the offense as they rotated around a little bit. So minute 35, what composition will they try and play here? They relying on the Widowmaker, the Pharah, you have to break the shield, move forward, break the shield, move forward. It's quite a slow composition to roll out on. So I don't know if it's going to be the right choice for them. They won't want to play the 3-3 composition into the Bastion too much because it can be difficult if you get picked off anywhere. What are they going to craft up in the lab now?
Ready for battle.
Botsa seems to play Reinhardt, but I think he'll be forced onto a different hero just given his teammate picks. There'll be no Bastion on the side of the Melbourne Mavericks. They'll be playing the double sniper. 2-2-2. You're weak early, boys, but that's okay.
The Mavericks have been pretty much running 2-2-2 this whole time, though.
Yeah, they have been. Soggy on the Hanzo instead of the Pharah is a bit curious, but keeps Razor with the team more, which leaves Truth to be babysat a little bit more too, so not a bad idea. Don't know what's in those boxes, but...
G. There's G in the boxes.
Huh. Didn't know you could box that.
Now you know. How much damage is Exo's going to be able to do here on Widowmaker? Ooh! Well, Sonic Arrow helps out there.
Adam has been resurrected though, so only a couple of seconds and a resource off the kit from Order. They haven't seen the Bastion yet though, so they might try and swap this up, Order. Might identify it. They have gone over to the shield breaking version of the composition. With the Hanzo be very potent at breaking that shield quickly.
60 seconds.
Scientist spotted Exert, so he knows where he is, so he knows what angle to avoid.
Or what angle to challenge.
I think he'll be avoiding, given how the duels have been going so far.
Maybe. All it takes is one. He's having a look, that's for sure. He catches Nellery.
That's a big pick. There's no way Razor can get down there to res that. Quad's going to drop low himself though.
Scary time, but will be healed back up.
Sani going for the third time on this shot. He's just not timed it correctly. Hunter's hooked.
Oh, Exerst is hooked. Exerst is hooked as well. It's a 1-for-1. Again, not a one that Razor is really going to be able to easily res, and no one got at the point in time. Order's going to cap it out. Anti-climax for sure.
They thought that Nellery's ball could get back in time, the wrecking ball, but it just wasn't in time to get to that point contest. He would have been the player that would have called that, hey, I can get there in time. Unfortunate for Melbourne Mavericks. They do put up a good fight though. This series is well and truly alive at the halftime break.
It's one apiece at the moment, and it's just been a crazy series so far. Like for looking at Ilios, you never would have expected a 2-0 from Melbourne Mavericks, and then you go into this one and Melbourne Mavericks capping out in overtime, and then maybe looking like they could hold as well on point B, but it's been all over the place. I've really liked it, actually. I've enjoyed what I've seen from Melbourne Mavericks. A bit of this 2-2-2 split. We've seen a lot of Widow. Exerst has been going crazy. Soggy's been going crazy. Slipchip's had some really nice hooks as well. So even though Melbourne Mavericks have had such an awful season, it's kind of nice to see them at least getting something going here in the final day.
Yeah, certainly having a little bit of success here, showing that, you know, the individual talent on this roster is there. They haven't had the longest time to work together. They also haven't had the longest time to strategize together, but they've seemed to have found this 2-2-2 niche, similar to the Shanghai Dragons ran. And it seems to be working out for them, and Soggy being comfortable on the Pharah, and Exerst being very comfortable on that Widowmaker. This was a nice barrage from Yuki. Manages to steal the point, got the nano boost as well. Probably didn't need the nano boost, but he did anyway. Yuki's hog was quite nice though. He managed to get a lot of hooks, a lot of picks. So getting that first pick on Nellery in the previous fight to end the map, essentially.
Yeah, we've been really seeing Yuki flex quite a bit today as well. You know, there's been the hog, like you mentioned. He's been on Pharah, which we used to see a lot. Haven't really tended to see too much lately.
Saw him attempt Junkrat.
Yeah, that didn't last for too long.
No, it didn't.
So we're sort of seeing Order branch out a little bit as well. It's not just that Sombra Goats, it's just not just that 3-3 that we've been seeing a little bit in the last couple of weeks. So maybe a bit of preparation coming in today for them heading into 2-2-2.
Well, now they do have to play next week because they aren't going to be able to secure a top 2 seed. They're going to need that preparation, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's certainly a bit of work to be done for Order. Look, Melbourne Mavericks, still a winnable series for them, and still they can crush the dreams for Order if we come back from the break, Nombani and Rialto. So a little bit to think about heading into this halftime.
Certainly is, and I believe both teams will be strategizing now, trying to think about how they can best approach Nombani, a map that flows quite well for that 2-2-2 composition.
All right, well, time to find out soon. Not quite just yet. Baited you all. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back after this with the second half.